because otherwise, my voice wouldn't have came through the recording at all. Like, remember last time?
Hello everybody, SMG and Big Mac Gaming, Big Mac 490 here with another video. And today we got another topic, Doom. And would you like to start us off, Big Mac?
My pleasure. Now, for those who don't know, like for all those gamers out there who have heard of Doom or never actually or played it, if you played any other shooter, then you'll know that Doom popularized the genre back in the 90s.
In the early 1990s.
More like the late 90s, because it was 1993 was the release year for Doom.
Well, yeah, but still, that would still be early 90s because early 90s is like 91 to like 93, and then 94 to 96 is mid 90s, and 96 to 99 is the late 90s.
To the awesome beginning of the year 2000s.
Exactly.
Right.
So, there's a little history lesson for Doom. Alright, Big Mac, next question for you.
Shoot.
Which Doom game is your favorite?
That's a tough one. I'm gonna have to say, I would say the classics, because it's just something about them that I don't know, just the feeling of the original, like not to be able to like look anywhere except side to side, no crouch or jumping.
And that also does include the Doom VR game too. Like I'm not excluding VR here. I'm just.
Yeah.
I mean.
Now for those who don't know, VR, Doom VR, you can play it. It is out. Just keep in mind, it's a lot different than the traditional gameplay than what you're used to.
Right. So another thing that I wanted to. Well, we're still going to talk about Doom. I'm just saying, there's another part of it that I want to talk about. Even though it's still Doom related, it's not the game at all. I'm talking about the Doom movie.
Ugh.
I agree with that.
Now,
I mean,
whether you guys viewers like the movie or not, for me personally, it just did not feel like a Doom movie. I mean, sure, it had that had the UAC, the monsters and such, but I felt like I was watching either Resident Evil or something like that instead.
Honestly though, man, it felt like when I seen the Doom movie, it's like I was watching a live action version of Left 4 Dead. No, for real.
Yeah, I know. Hey, I know. Like the movie was based on Doom 3, and although it just didn't turn out the way I was hoping it would.
Nah, I mean,
I got the horror right.
I didn't get like all the way through the movie. I got like halfway through, and I was like, "Yeah, this is crap. I'm turning this off."
I managed to get through the whole thing, and Justin, well,
it's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, I think your fans know who you are.
Yeah,
I think your viewers know who you are already.
Yeah, I had my YouTube channel revealing my real name before, so it's okay.
Well, anyway, let me just say, buddy, is that the movie had a single guy save a lady at the very end and defeat his sergeant, The Rock, at the very end.
Dwayne Johnson, one of the best actors there is.
Mm-hmm.
After Johnny Depp himself.
Oh wow. Now, this is our second podcast, and you know, and hopefully this time we actually know what we're doing.
Well, one of us
Uh,
knew what we were doing.
well, like we said in the first podcast, we'll be talking about theories, various other topics and such, and maybe add a bit of tidbit of gaming history or humble beginnings or something along those lines.
Exactly. So I wanted to bring up something we were talking about last time in our first one, where you were talking about backwards compatibility for systems.
Yeah, and how expensive and difficult it was for Sony to implement it.
Actually, they don't need to purchase the code again. They already have the code. What they need to do is include that codes include that code for that game in the new system so it could play those games that have that code.
Of course, we may also Sony may just skip game discs altogether and have the PlayStation 5 an all streaming service console, kind of like Google Stadia or Stadia
That
or however you pronounce it.
that is an excellent theory. I'm actually gonna say that right now. It's actually not too barbaric because we are getting in the age where discs are becoming obsolete. So I wouldn't scoff at the idea where it would be going to all digital. But
Yeah, yeah, of course.
but
Because
with that, hold that thought a second. But with
yeah,
that being said, if you have a terrible internet connection and you have all your games downloaded, when the internet's down, guess what you can't
you
play?
can't the darn games. You're stuck with a paper. You're stuck with a paperweight.
Exactly. So
See, That's why I'm fully against straight up streaming games that get that you're. I mean, you're paying the service to stream download and stream your games. I'm against that, but I'm not against the Twitch streaming aspect though.
oh, I am not either because Twitch is a big company. Like even if we did decide to go against them, it wouldn't hurt their platform at all.
No, no, it wouldn't. Um, so when Google Stadia hit the scene, I knew, and when I heard about it, I knew exactly what my plans were, and that was to avoid it at all costs.
Now,
Like, but that's just my strong opinion of it. Others may think differently, but
speaking
yeah, I'm
of
not.
strong opinions, the PlayStation version of the PlayStation streaming service for games, PlayStation Now, is, in my opinion, one of the worst things PlayStation can ever come up with.
So simple, man. How about we're gonna throw well before that. So viewers, we're gonna throw a little curveball in the podcast here, and that would be a review of the PlayStation Now. But keep in mind, this review means his opinion, Simple Man's opinion. So don't get offended anyway if he hates it or whatever. You know.
Honestly, I liked that first. I thought it was a great idea. But then I found out they have to take money out of your account every month, like $20 out of your account, and I was like, in the end, you know what? This is just a friggin' ripoff. I can throw my money somewhere else. Like I can put it into a trip if I needed to. I can put it on my damn credit card. Why am I paying for this hunk of junk?
Now that's a very good optimism point there because you're really just getting ripped off and you don't actually own the games whatsoever, and
No,
if your
you
subscription
don't.
goes
You're just
you lose
renting them.
I remember stating one here's a little something for you okay, now okay, sorry viewers, but I feel like this is starting to turn into a rant, so bear with me here.
Yeah.
Um,
Let's try and
like,
stay away from the rants.
well, I'll just do it real quick here. Honestly, streaming as an only streaming service for game. If we were in the age of gaming, which is and the only way to play them is to stream them. How about I turn this about on with Netflix? Because if you never use Netflix, or if you have, which I'm assuming you have, you'd be you know that you're paying a subscription, and you have to in order to use the services, right? And to watch
Right.
the shows or movies. Well, if their services go down, or you can't pay for the service anymore,
Or your account gets hacked, let's say.
you're basically you're shit out of luck. I mean, you can't really do much about that. Like you won't be able to do it. You can't watch anything. So
Alright.
that's called money down the drain right there. Oh, and by the way, that's sorry for my little potty mouth there. Don't ever go to rants, people. Please don't.
And if you do, just make sure not to go too far in and go and offend everyone, because that's the last thing we want here, people.
Yeah. So as a guest not guest, show host, I'll make sure this is censored in a way.
Well, I mean, you have sweared once, so like, it's all right this time, man.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah. Well, I mean for future reference, you know,
yeah,
just for
like,
future reference.
yeah, I know. Like, I'm just saying, like, even though that we're like doing our own podcast and everything, it's okay to just go off script and just tell them your real thoughts, you know?
Yeah. Oh, and speaking of thoughts, any thoughts about the future of gaming, or is there another topic you wish touch on, like say
Uh,
any more any more operators you want to spring in?
honestly, it's funny enough that you bring up operators, because I just played Siege today. And honestly, my opinion of it has not changed. Yes,
Now,
it's
for those of you, yeah, okay,
yes, it's fun, but there's also a limit too, like, to how many matches you can play before getting pissed off and ripping your freaking controller in half.
well, if you're going through a rage-inducing moment, then yeah. Now, in our previous podcast, we talked about the a little tidbit, a little not a bit of history regarding world's events, and we're not going to bring it up again, but just
No, we
just
are
to make
not.
but I want to say something real quick. The reason why we chose the name Penguins and use Skynet and all that, well, we're
It's
basically we're just having fun with it, and it's just a way of censoring it and all that stuff. So even if you knew exactly what we were talking about, please keep in mind that we're just not supporters.
We're not supporters
If that makes any sense.
Yeah, we're not supporters of any bad deed, no matter what it is. So,
No.
now on to our next thing. It's still gonna be on gaming, but wait, Big Mac, have you played 7 Days to Die by any chance?
No, I have not. I may get it, but right now I got my hands full in other titles and such.
Okay, well, I will save my opinion. Well, I'm just gonna tell you my opinion on it. But I'm not gonna go too far into talking about it, because chances are you probably won't know what I'm talking about. Honestly, 7 Days to Die is one of the best survival games out there. Well, best zombie survival game. There, that's better.
And speaking of zombie titles, I'm surprised there really isn't not that many zombie games anymore.
I know, like, I know, like, there's the title of, there's the title, uh, Walking Dead Survival Instincts, where you play as Daryl Dixon.
Yeah, then there's Metal Gear Survive, which as well,
And then there's also Left 4 Dead for Xbox.
and PC as well.
Yeah, and PC.
Yeah. Now, for those of you who never played Left 4 Dead and like the
I know I have.
younger viewers, Valve has made Left 4 Dead as an exclusive for PC, but ported it to Xbox. And I'll just say this right now: if you're thinking of getting it for Xbox, please get it for PC. There's some pretty good modding community. Plus, the controls are better. I play both, so I know I'm talking about here.
And for some of our viewers out there that love to play the game Anthem, I'm not going to talk about it too much, but I'm just going to mention this one part. For people who like to play the game, after it came out, one of us actually forgot to mention this in the first half. You couldn't play it for a while because there was a problem with the game where if you started it up for any reason, it would crash your whole system.
Wow, that's actually it sounds like that game was seriously unstable. Like I guess it didn't leave the hospital. I guess when I left the hospital, but it didn't leave with a good health, I guess.
It left the hospital, but not with all green lights, if you know what I mean.
Yeah. Now I'm gonna just bring this back to Doom. The movie was not great, but I get the feeling Doom Annihilation is probably the same bet. But the new Doom, the game, returns to form for the classic game. So, and even though it came out in 2016, I would strongly recommend that any fan of Doom who hasn't played it yet, play it. It's so much fun.
Even I'm considering starting to play the new. Even I'm considering starting Doom up myself. Like I want to play it and see what all the hassle about. Like yes, we're talking about Doom. Yes, we're talking about a whole bunch of things here, but the main topic is Doom.
Well, Doom created Call of Duty, Halo, Counter-Strike, Half-Life, Quake, all those stuff. Well, maybe not Quake, but anyway, but
speaking of
without Doom, the entire without Doom and Wolfenstein 3D, the entire genre would not exist. Just put it that way.
Let's just say Doom is the great grandfather of gaming.
Exactly. Yep.
And speaking of Halo, I want to get your thoughts on the Halo series.
All right. I played a few, but not all of them anyway.
All right. Are there any in particular that you liked or disliked?
Well, I enjoyed the entire Halo Reclaimer trilogy from Bungie, as well as Reach and ODST. As for Halo 4, I really can't give you an opinion on that.
Okay, what about Halo 5 Guardian?
If you like a game that has barely any story structure and no emphasis on military feel and whatnot, and you can't understand and you don't know what the characters are, then go for it.
I know it's like they didn't give you a backstory of each of the characters. Because
I found out from another YouTuber who did a 6-part series of why Halo 5's campaign is so bad, and you may have heard of him, and you may know who I'm talking about. But to put it simply, he brought up why it was so bad, the false marketing and everything around that. But if you want to watch like almost a rant sort of style review, then look it up. I won't go into details of it because it's too complicated and all that stuff.
And for all of our Marvel fans watching, I mean, who here doesn't like to play a good old Marvel game or see a good old Marvel movie? Am I right?
The
Now,
first 3 Spider-Man movies were good. I'll just say that.
okay, not where I was going, but
Yeah.
okay.
Well, I figured I opened the door for something that's fun, I guess, or interesting.
Again, like I said in the last video, I'm not confirming or denying anything, but it looks like there may be it looks like there might be a new Marvel Spider-Man 2 game coming out soon. Not soon, but we probably could expect one in, like, I can't really give you a timeline because I don't work at PlayStation or work at any developing companies.
So we basically don't know any details of it.
Right. It's
Like
just a rumor
release dates and
at this
whatnot.
point. It's just a rumor at this point.
And speaking of new games, newer titles are in the works. Doom Eternal has been in the works for a long time. And as for other titles like Splinter Cell, you guys can forget it. That series is dead. It's dead. So
That
it's hard to say, but it is.
I know. Splinter Cell was dead even before it left the operating table.
Because after the lackluster sales of Blacklist and bad reception with Conviction and a mixed reception of Double Agent, like both versions anyway, it basically just went dark entirely.
Yeah, like I played a bit of Blacklist and I was like, yeah, no, I can't play this game.
Well, Superman, if you ever played the original games, like the very other games, then you'll obviously know why Blacklist wasn't well received at all by hardcore fans.
I had it for GameCube.
Yeah, well, I'm just saying, like, if you haven't have it already.
And honestly, like the last Splinter Cell I played again was Blacklist, but I didn't really care for like the story mode of it. Like I did like it, but I did not like the story mode.
The Splinter Cell never had a good story at all. All the stories throughout all the games were conspiracy theories and all that. Hence why, and so that's why I never really cared for any of the stories in any of the games.
Although I did quite enjoy the one for GameCube though, because it did have a good story. Even though I kept on doing the training, and I liked the training part. It was actually pretty fun.
Yeah, like I played the original trilogy, and like the first 2 games are definitely meant for players who are more patient. Third game, well, Chaos Theory, is casually accessed, so like any casual player can play it. Just put it that way.
And
But
Splinter Cell is just one of those games where honestly I can just take it or leave it. I'm not gonna give you my favorite opinion on my opinion on my favorite character or favorite map or favorite gun in that game. No. I
like the guards and I like Conviction because it had that Panther and Ghost feel that actually works, where in Blacklist is just a Ghost and Panther or just doesn't work that well. Like,
and Splinter Cell is just one of those games where, like, if someone starts talking to me about it, I'm like, I can't talk about this. I don't understand it.
But here's the opinion I actually have for the series.
Okay.
I really find, well, Blacklist entirely actually. Blacklist does not has not returned to form with the original games. It never has. It basically took everything from Conviction and improved upon it in some way, but it never. But that's about it. 90% of the game you're in action, and 20% you're in stealth mode.
Right.
And all the and considering how very linear the levels are, I mean that's how they always were. Despite you can, even though there are some places you can navigate, you can't really stick around that many people. Not with a game detective anyway. But anyway, that's just my opinion.
One other thing that another topic that I want to talk about, still on gaming though. What are your thoughts on the Red Faction games, like the Red Faction series?
I played the first game. It was fun. I never played I played a bit of the third one, and I was surprised they went from first person to third person.
See, you see,
Like,
you see,
I was surprised.
right there is what I was talking about. When I said I don't like them going from first to third, that right there is just, yes, it's clever in some ways, but it's also very, very annoying.
Also, could somebody completely explain to me if the Red Faction games have one story or are they all separate stories? Because I feel like the third one didn't have anything to do with the first game,
And
and I get the feeling it could be said with the second one. Yeah.
Honestly, I found the only one I liked was Red Faction Guerrilla.
Otherwise known as Red Faction 3. So.
Yeah, Red Faction 3.
Yeah. Does number 2 have Simple Man Gaming here? Does Red Faction 2? I'm guessing you played it, right? Like you played all of them?
Yes, I played them. Even the one for PS2 when it was all like first person and it had like very bad graphics.
Half-Life graphics. That's what it reminded me of. It reminded me so much of Half-Life. That's the first one, anyway.
Right.
But my main question is to any of the viewers watching this as well, and please tell me, does Red Faction 2, 1, 2, and 3 have any correlation with each other? Like, is there are they like a trilogy or are they just separate games? Because that's what I want to know.
I'm actually
really
curious about that too, because Red Faction is just one of those games where you're like, is this a actual trilogy, or is it a different storyline at each time? Like,
yeah, because Saints Row has a trilogy as a set story, and like from 1 through 4. And
I never played Saints Row 1. I only played like 2, 3, and 4.
Well, I know that, but you don't have to play the first game because you can see the first game just by playing the second game. I mean, you're in the same city, and there's references to the first game.
There's still references in Saints Row 4.
Yeah, so it's one continuous series, or one story, pretty much.
I mean, the story for Saints Row basically ended in Saints Row 3, but they decided, hey, you know what? Let's just throw in Saints Row 4 where you're in a virtual reality system. Which
I thought that was a cool idea, actually. I actually enjoyed that game.
Honestly, me too, but
although I definitely wish you could if there's one thing I wish you could do in Saints Row, like in the games themselves, and let me know if you guys agree, was to say disable your powers, or have the option to, or maybe just unequip mods or something like that, so your weapons aren't stuck at overpower.
And honestly, I loved the option where they that they threw in to customize your weapons how you want them in Saints Row 4.
Like the rocket launcher, you can have, for example, you can have it look like a guitar case or a potato gun or something ridiculous like that.
Yeah, I just loved that.
Yeah. Moving on. I feel like this podcast sounds more like a Q&A here. Whatever. I think with our next topic, I think what we're gonna definitely touch on is a bit more on the gaming history themselves and why, and maybe continuously continuing on with some of the topics we discussed previously.
All right.
With new thoughts involved here and stuff and such like that.
Okay.
Like, for example, the operators. You said you play Siege, right?
Yeah, I was playing.
Is there any thoughts about the operators and like why you think they were added, or why there was a trend here, all that stuff?
That is
Because
a good question.
all I can think of is because all I can think of is gameplay reasons. That's the only thing I could think of.
Honestly, like I'm gonna expand more on this, but first off, one of the reasons why I don't really like Siege and yes, I know a lot of people love Siege, and I'm actually related to one of them. He actually managed to platinum the game. But my point here is Siege isn't all what they made it out to be. There's, like I explained in the last one and didn't really get a chance to expand on it.
Which is what we're doing now.
Exactly. One of the characters has an insane hitbox. It's very hard to hit her. I've actually been like on the receiving end of that hitbox. Like I tried to shoot someone who was Ash, and it was honestly very hard for me to hit her.
Honestly, I felt the same way when I'm playing Black Ops 4. Like I'll play Team Deathmatch because that's like my favorite
Classic
mode.
TDM.
One of the maps are I'll look. I it was either TDM or free for all. I can't remember. One of the maps.
Blackout.
I remember
you mean?
playing. No, just the multiplayer side.
Okay.
One of the operators I absolutely hate are the ones with the machine guns, like the robots and stuff, or the grenade launchers. Those operators, I'm not a fan of.
Yeah, same here.
Now I will just go on a bit of a slight rant here.
Go for it.
Some players I really hate it when they have to camp with some of the operators.
Okay.
Let's just say I just had a bad match. That's all.
Okay, that is a big issue though. Camping.
I mean, camping in COD is to be expected if you have certain weapons or something like that. And it's a strategy. I get that.
Yeah,
but
it's a strategy.
Camping at a single spot with a robot operator, and just shooting machine guns all the time in a single spot, it's kind of unfair. I mean,
it's kind of bullcrap.
Like I couldn't get into this. I couldn't even like get a good hit in without going down every time.
And another game that I want to discuss on briefly, even though that doesn't really have operators, and a game that we both spoke about last time, and that I see going far, is Battlefield.
Yeah, that one's been running for a long time. Like the old games, all the way to the spin-offs and Battlefield 5 and now Battlefield 1. So.
And let's not forget the good old Battlefield Bad Company and Bad Company 2.
Yeah, those. Although Battlefield 1 was my first Battlefield game, and I have to say I was really impressed.
My first
It felt
Battlefield,
it felt real. It just did.
my first Battlefield the first Battlefield game I played, was Bad Company, and that was on my brother's Xbox.
Yeah. Now, one thing we're going to expand here for sure is our next topic, and this is going to be might spark some rage or something. Microtransactions.
There is so much rage in microtransactions. I mean, I can go on an hour-long rant, but I won't about microtransactions. I'll just give you my thoughts on it. Microtransactions, honestly, is well. First of all, before I get too far into it, I'm just gonna say, if you're a company that's doing online gaming and you want to do microtransactions, that's fine.
It works.
You can do that all you want, but don't go overboard with it.
EA, I'm looking at you. And Activision, yes.
Okay, now Activision is a big one.
Now for those of you who don't either care, like, or well, whatever your opinion of microtransaction is, whether it's good or bad, I have mixed feelings about it. Like, I'm not entirely against the idea.
Oh, me neither.
Because I get it. It can work in games. Destiny and other MMOs, whether it's on a disc or not. Microtransactions have a place there because they're online only games, and besides, it's just a way for developers to constantly support it.
Again, Activision looking at you.
But moving away from online only titles to just straight up single player games, or single player multiplayer game, are microtransactions really necessary to have?
I mean,
because let me tell you, Black Ops 4, okay? I'm bringing this up because this one is huge with that. When I bought the game, I was surprised of how much 90% all the entire content is locked behind a paywall. The grinding is messed up. You have to be a level 30 or 40 something to unlock a frag grenade, just so you know.
Which is complete crap if you ask us.
Yeah, and also there's just too much paywall in it. Like, and charging way over the price point for a season pass.
Exactly. Charging people way too much for your season pass. That's why you're failing, Activision. That is why.
Season passes are fine. I mean, they're a great way to get packs of stuff, but microtransactions, they belong in certain places and they don't belong in others.
Now, if we're talking microtransactions, we cannot forget about this one company who has really done it well. Ubisoft. I mean, you cannot talk microtransactions without talking about some of the, even though they're overpriced, some of the microtransactions in Siege. I mean, I'll admit, I've got tempted a few times to buy a couple of things, buy some shit on Siege. Pardon my language there, but I got tempted a few times to buy some in-game currency to buy a character. Sorry, operator. But
yeah,
again, there's a limit, and I know all about limits because before
you live with them.
Yes, you have to live with them. You have to have a limit even if you're making microtransactions. Now, am I right in saying microtransactions are necessary? sometimes. Am I right?
In some way.
Am I right in saying that microtransactions are scary? Without a doubt.
Although I think EA definitely did it notoriously with Battlefront 2, though.
Oh, without a damn doubt in my mind.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I'm like, although I played a bit of it, but I didn't really pay attention for the loot boxes because honestly, I really don't care for those. Like,
Also, you played the online more than the story. Gotcha.
the story one was only has one entirely luck-based section, which I found rage-inducing entirely.
And that's another storyline that I want to touch on for a few minutes. The storyline of Battlefront 2.
All right.
I mean, I get it. Like, wanting to rebel against your father who's on the dark side. But, honestly, don't... Like I said about the microtransactions, don't overdo it, because it can get old quickly.
I think it already has.
Which part? The part where she tries to kill, like, a bunch of rebels for her father, or tries to almost kill Luke Skywalker a couple of times?
I have no idea. I never really bothered finishing the story, so.
Oh, me neither.
Now, for those of you who completed the story, that's great. But for me personally, I just couldn't get through it.
And honestly,
Not without getting frustrated.
yeah. And even though this title came out a while ago, I still want to get your opinion on it if you've played it.
And I'm all for opinions. Like, I'll give an opinion whether it's good, strong, or something.
Honestly, what did you think of the game Alpha Protocol?
I wish I played that one, but I didn't play it yet.
Well, I've played it, and honestly, again, I gotta say, it's if you're one of those people who love to solve puzzles, well, they're not really puzzles per se, but they are almost like a puzzle. I'm not gonna go too far into it, but I'm just gonna say it gets frustrating after a while.
And speaking of puzzles, there's actually a great puzzle game that I could recommend to anybody, and that's Cube on Xbox or PlayStation.
Oh, I've played Cube, actually.
As well as a mobile and computer desktop version called The Room. So if you're into puzzles and The Room, which is a tinkering puzzle type of game, if you're into that, then go for it.
And I just want to, Big Mac, I also want to get your opinion on the Batman Arkham series, like you know the ones I'm talking about, right? Like Arkham Asylum, Arkham City, and so on.
I remember playing one Batman game. I think it was called Arkham City. Unfortunately, I didn't even know what the heck I was doing, or how to or what to do or anything like that. Like I think I just got bored after a while.
Okay.
But it was a cool experience, though. I will say that. Like
okay. Okay. Well, let me fill in some of the gaps where you are hazy on. And again, for some of those people who haven't beat Arkham City yet,
spoiler alert.
Don't just skip ahead in the video so you don't hear this next part.
Yeah, timestamps will be in the video somewhere.
I will I will be explaining what Protocol 10 is. So, for some of you who have played the game and you don't know what it is yet and you want to know anyway, then please keep watching. But if not, then just skip ahead in the video. Alright, so on to Protocol 10. Hugo Strange had this I'm not really going to call it brilliant, but idiotic idea mostly, to lock everyone up in Arkham City. And then when you're almost done the game, I think about, like, that's not the point. The point is, Protocol 10 is to lock everyone up in Arkham City and get the Tiger Guard, sorry, not Arkham, to kill every inmate in the city, including the Joker, which also happens to die after, well, I can't remember what happens to him, but I do know that it's not very good. Harley Quinn goes berserk, captures Batman, Robin has to save him, and then there you go. There's the storyline for Arkham City and Harley Quinn's revenge right there. And I know some of you didn't want the ending spoiled for either of those, but like both of us have said, it's going to be a spoiler, so you better watch out.
If you didn't want to be spoiled, then why did you proceed with the video?
And speaking of like some of the Batman games, a buddy of mine just helped me beat Arkham Asylum as well, and honestly, that one, the ending could have gone better.
Now, game reviews aside, I have a special announcement to make here.
Alright.
And it's related to clowns. So if you have a fear of clowns, then you may not want to listen to this. The horror movie of the It series, Chapter 2, is coming. So if any of you viewers are like that sort of thing, then better get ready for it.
I'm not gonna watch it because I seen the first one and I was like, this is just complete crap. I mean, say what you will about it. You may like it, you might not, but, well, it's alright if you don't like it, but the point is, like, my opinion of it, it was one of the worst horror movies ever made.
What about Annabelle then?
Again,
Even though it's based on an actual doll that looks nothing like the one in the movie, but it has the same name.
okay,
Yeah, it does.
Now, right there, yes, they name it after a doll, but come on, Annabelle is a stupid movie.
Actually, the doll looks nothing like doesn't look creepy at all, like the real life one. And a young woman received it from her mother, and unfortunately, that call it to a fake or not, but this is from what I've heard, that it was actually possessed by a demon, and hence, so in the end, it was put into like a box at the museum in Connecticut. So, yeah, in Connecticut's museum. Gosh, that's a hard word to say.
Connecticut? Yeah, I know.
That's a tough name to say. So I apologize if you guys are living there. If I butcher your name, I really do apologize for that.
And
I'm not great at pronouncing names, okay? I'm just not.
Yeah. And honestly, Annabelle is just one of those movies where like I will go see it, but I'd rather not see it, if that makes sense.
You're so like what do you call like a like you're just unsure about it, really.
Exactly. Like say I'm just gonna uh speaking of movies or speaking of horror movies, like I'm into the good old slasher films like Halloween, Friday the 13th, uh and so on. Say what you
I'm
will about
really
any of them,
For
but
me, I am not into horror movies, so but hey, that's just me.
right. I mean, I liked Friday the 13th, but I didn't like part 5.
Now, moving away from horror films, we're also going to be we're going to like expand our thoughts on world history here for a moment.
Okay.
What we actually know, and but we're not going to. But don't worry, we are going to touch on the uh
The topic that we did
what we
last
talked
time.
about. Yeah, but instead we're going to focus on the historical value that's interesting, actually.
Exactly.
And even though this may not be actual history, like what you learn in history class, but regardless, we hope you still appreciate it.
And
And also, we're going to be discussing some more various topics in the next podcast. But
who knows?
we'll see though.
Who knows? There might be some history about some favorite TV shows that we all love.
And speaking of TV shows, here's a question: how'd you like the Two and a Half Men or The Big Bang Theory, or was there any other shows that you preferred?
I loved Big Bang Theory. I mean, I tended not to care when. Well, I liked it when Sheldon moved out of Leonard's apartment, but I didn't. I love how Sheldon and Amy are together now. But can't Sheldon just change his ways for a girl, like not be the way that he is, not be annoying, just be a civilized human being?
You know, that's actually one of the many questions about him, about his character, and so it's really tough to say about that.
And
But I do agree though.
even though this is a Netflix show, I'm still going to discuss it a little bit. The show that Gabriel Iglesias is in, called Mr. Iglesias. Now,
And that sounds like a show you'll recommend, yes?
without a doubt, it's one of my most recommended shows I give to people. Also, Designated Survivor if you're into politics, which is something we're gonna steer clear from.
Oh, thank goodness. I really do not want to talk about politics. No thanks. Blah! No thanks.
I mean,
Politics
there
has
may
no place in my gaming world.
I mean, there might be some mention of it here and there, but we're not gonna straight up ask the question.
No, we're not actually gonna be sound like politics or politicians. Is that right? Like
You got it.
yeah. We're into the social aspect here, but we're also into like the gaming culture, and I don't think that our culture needs this kind of stuff.
No, it does not.
Well, actually, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to talk about politics just for a bit here. Why did it have to invade our gaming culture? Mass Effect Andromeda, for example.
And
I cannot believe what Bioware did with that game, because like I would have bought it had it not turned out to be so bad.
honestly, I honestly want to talk about a huge issue that's going on right now between US and China, but I'm not going to go too far into it because we all have our own opinion of it.
And disclaimer: we're not condoning hate of any kind here, so please do not feel like that there is.
And we're not
Like
pointing,
we are not.
Again, like we
This is
both
a-
explained many times in the last video, we are not pointing fingers.
We're just having a civilized discussion, debate, being like normal people, with agreements, disagreements. But we're not here to blame. We're not here gonna cause a war or hate or whatever.
Exactly.
And to any of you people who are not from the United States or Canada, well, we hope you enjoy yourself.
I said China,
there.
not Canada, but whatever.
Hey, I'm just trying to be more open,
Yeah, I know.
Be friendly with people.
Like I was gonna say, I honestly cannot stand this trade war going on between the US and China, because some Chinese-made goods that we love, say for example, a USB guitar for Rock Band, just as an example. In the
Or
bundle,
the PlayStation, or the PlayStation, right?
exactly, or the PlayStation, because it right now.
Well, actually, no, it was just somewhere. No, the Sony is from like Japan, not China.
Whatever.
My
But
bad.
point is, like, yes, some things are going up in price. Yes, it's getting more expensive.
You pay more, you get less.
Exactly.
Take it or leave it.
Exactly. But some of the things we love, like some of the stuff we buy for our games, don't up the price. Gamers are just like everyone else, trying to get by in life.
I miss the good old times I miss the good old days that the games used to cost $60. Do you remember that? Like what happened?
Oh yeah.
I mean, sure, $60 was expensive, but at least you could
yeah,
manage it.
minimum new game was $60.
And that you can manage that well, but here it's like 80. Like
now, yeah, like
I mean that's a bit extreme, isn't it? It's like almost as much as a controller or a console.
And now the bundle for Rock Band is almost as much as a new car.
How much is it? Do I dare to ask?
Honestly, like the guitar alone, it's like $700.
Okay, that's it.
No, I'm messing around with you. It's only two. It's only 200.
Okay,
Like,
thank goodness. I was gonna say like,
but
it's
the
like
bundle,
woo, all right.
But the bundle itself is almost around $1,000.
That's extreme. If you don't understand, so that's very extreme.